March pulled me straight into the garden. And with the sunshine and the flowers, I still had a moment to get in some coloring. And this month, it was packed with coloring news. Let's jump right in. From cozy adventures to movie tributes, here's what stood out. Wondrous Folk is set for release in August 2025. If it's anything like Wildflower Folk, we're in for another round of stunning portraits on high-quality paper. And this one is definitely on my wish list. Speaking of stunning illustrations, Tropical Wonderland for fans of tropical scenes from wildlife, flowers, and botanical elements. And as we know, there were many cozy book releases. If you loved Cozy Japan, you're gonna love Cozy Europe with adorable fuzzy creatures. And Hero Buddies brings fantasy storytelling to the Cozy Buddies series. And for those animal lovers, Fluffy Moments by Mason Nook is now available with cuddly moments. But there's also Whimsical Cozy Moments with Dogs Volume 2, with cozy dog-related scenes. And for fans of Scandinavian folklore, there's a third book in the Wondrous Folk series. And lastly, Morgan O'Brien stirred up appetites with the release of Matchstick Mouse Cookbook Edition. March also saw the release of the Minecraft movie official coloring book. Speaking of films, Jaws is making a splash with a special 50th anniversary coloring book, and the Demon Slayer coloring book lets their fans reimagine the iconic characters in their own style. And to wind things down, Better Day Books gave us a sneak peek at Modern Day Folk art coloring book, and it's a fresh modern take with kind of a workbook style. And Stacy Brooks shared a new project combining coloring with wine culture and her new coloring book. And here's a different take. The Cornwall Coloring Book is set to launch in April with 75 proceeds supporting Mason's Baldwin House, an organization that is based in Ontario, Canada. And there are many other releases expected in 2025. Coloring with Anna on Instagram shared some unique upcoming coloring books. And of course, there were so many other coloring book releases. Some unique, some mainstream. So I'm going to hand that off to Leia at coloringqueen.net. She's incredible at creating an extensive book release list and worth a follow on YouTube. And if this video helps you in some way, please drop a comment on how it helped. Let's move on to industry news. We already know that coloring is back, but hercampus.com recently shared why it's become a self-care tool that mimics meditation, helps you unplug from the blue screen, and it even boosts your mood, whether you're tackling an intricate design or a cozy page. And the adult coloring book market is expected to double by 2033, with digital coloring and interactive formats leading new growth. So hold on to your wallets. More books, more styles, and more innovation are on the way as independent illustrators and publishers increase production. Better Homes and Garden recently shared a list of 15 mindful hobbies for adults, all of which you can do right at your home. It's a great reminder that hobbies like coloring and crafting aren't just fun, they're also soothing and grounding. And over at hometownstation.com, they highlighted how digital tools and AI are reshaping the coloring world, making it easier for indie creators to launch books. But the article also raises the question about quality and creative integrity. Next up is all about illustrators and artists. On a more serious note, scammers are on the rise. Especially on Amazon and Etsy, independent illustrators are having their artwork stolen, repackaged, and resold without permission. Several artists in the coloring community have spoken out, asking for support and awareness. So I wanted to share some quick tips to avoid stolen or fake coloring books. Here's how you can protect artists and spot scams. Support your favorite illustrators on social media and subscribe to their newsletters. That's going to give you some insider updates and possibly the designs in some of the books you haven't purchased. And you'll recognize their artwork more easily. If you know what the actual book looks like, you'll be less likely to fall for a fake. As for Etsy buyers, stay alert. Some sellers repost stolen work on Etsy too. If something looks off or unfamiliar, consider reaching out to the illustrator with any suspicious designs. As for Amazon buyers, Amazon will recommend similar art styles, which scammers try to mimic. Some of the areas to check is the thumbnail previews, and then don't forget to click on Read Sample or Look Inside. This reveals way more than the cover. And of course, read the customer reviews. If a book seems off or has multiple reviews accusing it of stealing, don't buy it. Let's shift gears to some much-needed uplifting coloring news. The lovely and talented Emily Lighthole Oberg shared a teaser page that may be in an upcoming coloring book. And if fairy tales are your thing, Mrs. Butterbee has been stealing our hearts with her enchanted illustrations featuring classics like Red Riding Hood and more magical characters. And lastly, an incredible alcohol marker artist named Kat Young shared what happens when you place resin over alcohol markers. Her little space explorer came out incredible. Time to switch it up. Here's some news about art supplies, tutorials, and freebies. Crayola went quiet after their fancy blender marker debut, but they're back with 3 sleek new sets, blendable tones, dual tips, and even a 50-pack, all wrapped up in elegant packaging. And if you're coloring on a budget, the Frugal Crafter has you covered. You can find some tips on using the iCrayon wax pastels, which might be an alternative to the Neocolor 2s. Next up is 2 helpful tutorials. Check out Axic Fumbles for an incredible stone texture tutorial. It combines acrylic washes with colored pencils. And you can also check out some tips on how to color backgrounds by Shells Coloring. Buzzing in with a couple of freebies, Castle Arts is offering a free beehive-themed coloring page, and there's also some self-care freebie pages over at digitalmomblog.com. Well, there is your coloring recap for March. Let's move on to some coloring pages. I'll try to go through these fairly quickly because I do have some incredible people I want to give shout-outs to in the coloring community. Finished an adorable page with a deer in here. This was all with shuttle art markers. Still trying to get down that fur with alcohol markers, and I think I did okay for the most part. I am over the moon with this page. Love the color palette. As you can tell, I am a big fan of Land Before Time, and I kind of a little bit inspired by that, but I wanted her to kind of look like a leopard. I finished this page. I followed R.J. Hampson's amazing tutorial. I didn't have the colors that he put here, but I used this as close as I could, and I really like the way this turned out. This book is so incredible. Finished this page in Erie. This was a buddy color with the talented Cat Coloring. I will put her incredible page up here. Mine was based with a little bit of water-based markers, then I went over it with Prismacolor, then I think there is a little bit of acrylic marker in certain spots. Finished this page with Derwent Inktense, and then the background is done with a little bit of water-based markers, and then I went over it with Prismacolor. And then over here, I took the colors from this side and put it on the inside, and then I put the wood on the outside, and I think it came out beautiful. I love these colors together, so it has a very nature-driven theme. I made an Instagram and TikTok story about this as well. And it's about a goddess that is watching over the people that have lived in this place. And I colored this in the first of the month, so I will put all the items that I used to color it. But this was such a relaxing color, and I was trying to make her skin seem a little ethereal and less human. I don't know if I achieved that. As I was trying to get through my untouched coloring books, I did 3 pages in space. This was a simple color with the Kolar colored pencils. I think I did go in with a little bit of water-based markers as I was testing it for the tutorial I did for the bee in the same book. The other page I did was this adorable bee. I made that tutorial because I had some questions about how to kind of get things to pop, and I know it was a little too simple for some people, but I'm thankful that a lot of people enjoyed it. And then I just did this one. It was a mindless thing, but it was all with Kolar, just to use up those pencils. When Coloring Bumblebee had the call out to do this page, I was delighted. I wanted it to kind of be a night scene, and as I'm decluttering my pastel set, I took pastels and went around the edges. And it was an interesting experience. I used the fixative, and then after that, why is it like not doing what I want it to do? And then at some point, I thought it really doesn't matter because I got the colors I wanted, but I am drawn to these colors. Finished 2 pages in Alien World. This was the first page. It was a real delight to color. I used Prismacolor, some water-based marker from Ohuhu, some Posca, and some gel pens. And this was another buddy color, Crafty Claire 1. She has a sharp eye for color that makes her pages inviting. Claire is into coloring, crafts, and diamond painting, but she's also a fan of dark and moodier coloring books. So if that's your vibe, be sure to check out her channel. The other page isn't that great, but I was kind of making a storyline that the aliens were trying to conceal the planet. The aliens are too smart, and this is kind of like a chameleon planet where it tries to conceal what it's like. So you wouldn't really want to land on a planet like this, and that's why it's not all green and there's no water, and so I think it's trying to conceal it. So silly to think this up, but it was fun. This page was done with Shuttle Art alcohol markers. Really love the night scene here. I did use the Shuttle Art blender marker, the deer. The rest of it is just applying different layers of colors on top of each other. Finished a page in mythical miniatures. Little Medusa character. I struggled here a lot. I used a brown color, so these look like poop, unfortunately. And then I went in with some water-based markers after the Shuttle Art markers. But I kind of cheated with the bottom here and added a little bit of Arteza colored pencils around the edges. But aside from that, most of it is Shuttle Art. But I wanted it to blend a little nicer, so I started playing with pencils. It's kind of a bad addiction of mine. This is Enchanted Galaxies. Finished the underwater scene. So I used Arteza premium colored pencils, a little bit of Posca, and I think a fine liner. I also used the Hethrone water-based black marker around the edges and Prismacolor. Finished a page in Peaceful Spring, this strawberry page. I did do a color and chat tutorial on how I did it. It's just a real simple color palette. I used markers, a little bit of Posca, and the Jade Green and Prismacolor Premier. And the last page I finished, this was a work in progress from last year. I ended up using Colorsoft originally, then I decided to go in with Arteza premium pencils since I had them next to me, and then I went in with a blender pen. I was tempted to get in there with water-based markers in the leaves, but I wanted to make it simple, so I just left it as is. I really love the paper in these Kirby books. Well, now it's time to turn this over to our very own talented community. My coloring room on Instagram shared a beautiful colored page featuring a deer, but this page almost didn't get completed out of frustration. It's a great reminder to embrace the ugly stages of a coloring page, because sometimes perseverance is what turns it into a masterpiece. Colored by Cami on YouTube had a delightful video with stunning color pages compiled over the last few months. And over on TikTok, Detsy870 had a dreamy sunset in a newly released coloring book, No Drama Llama. As a side note, have you heard of blind buddy colors? I found out about that on TikTok. Basically, you and a buddy pick a cute and cozy coloring book, but you don't share the page you're going to color. I think it's a clever way to change up buddy colors. And lastly, Susie over on Instagram placed all her pencil stubs in a charming jar. It does make me wonder, what could I use with my art scraps? I hope you enjoyed the latest coloring recap, and if you like this video, you may like the next one. Thanks for watching.